Hello, welcome to my channel. I want to come on here very quickly and talk about my experience on a GLP-1 weight loss medication um, that is actually a compound medication. So it's not your typical Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, none of those. So this is a compound. It's made by a pharmacy here locally. It is not FDA approved. But there is a lot of medications that have compounds. So it's something that is commonly done with medications, especially in this situation when it comes to GLP-1s. There, to my understanding, is they can't produce them fast enough, so they allow these compounds to be made. I don't know. I'm not into the politics of all that stuff. All I know is my doctor said it's safe, you can take it, and I'm taking it. Um, So, why am I making these videos? Really, I want to have these videos. Number one reason for myself, I want to be able to look back and see if I've made any progress, if I haven't made any progress, how was I feeling from week to week, and just monitor that and keep like a little video diary of it. I think it would be helpful for me, but also I'm a viewer too. I go to YouTube for just about anything. And I think if I stumbled across these videos and I was looking for either motivation to get on a medication or something to maybe demotivate, I don't know, just people's experiences. I am often looking for that. So I thought I'm going to share my experience, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I want to share it. Also, if you're feeling positive and you want to leave a comment down below, please do so. Say, you got it, or I'm on week whatever. Or maybe if you've lost a considerable amount of weight on these medications, like talk about your experience. I don't know. I would love to hear about what everybody's got going on when it comes to these medications, if anybody's willing to share. Anyway, what's up? I think my cat's getting sick. He's good. He's just a little stuffy. Anyway, so, and I could go into the history of my weight, but honestly, that's gonna take so long. Just know I've had phases in life where I'm doing really good and I'm very passionate about health and fitness, and other parts and phases of my life where I simply cannot control my eating habits, and my eating habits become very, 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 what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Demanding, or almost like it's all I can think about at times. Binge eating, I guess, is a way to describe it. There's times and honestly, recently, it's something that just never goes away from me. And I think that's where I'm trying to get to is if I'm not in a healthy phase where I'm like going to the gym daily and doing something and feeling good about that, then I'm in the other window where I am constantly struggling with what I'm eating, constantly overeating, constantly feeling myself to the point where I don't feel comfortable. Like I'm just overeating and I have no control. And it's not because lack of want, it's just an addiction. And truly, that's what I feel food is for me. When I'm sad, I turn to food. When I'm happy, I turn to food. When I'm stressed, like, it's just something that I can't control. But anyway, moving on from that, if you can relate to it, then you know exactly what all I'm trying to say. And if you can't, then, you know, you can't relate to me. But the ones that do, do. So anyway, I want to say, like, in the last 5 years, I have not been able to get on a health kick. I believe last time I was able to consistently lose weight, it was probably like, yeah, 5 years ago. And I was maybe at like 175 and I got down to like 155, something like that. Get out of here. And I felt so good. Literally, my daily thing that I was looking forward to doing was going to the gym and doing something physical and doing something active. And it felt so good. It felt like I was taking care of myself, like I was doing something productive. My body felt so good, you know, moving, and you know, that whole thing. But since then, I went from like maybe 155 and I got to my highest weight of like 215 pounds. I'm only 5'4", and 215 pounds is a lot on my frame. Also, because I have skinnier arms and legs, and I carry most of my body weight in like my center, so like apron belly from literal hell. So when you're that heavy and you have like smaller extremities and like a bigger midsection, you feel that weight so hard. Like you're sitting and like it's so uncomfortable. The way that I got that big, and this is like an important part, I was very, 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 very depressed at the time. Very depressed at the time. I was in a relationship and it was just not good. But anyway, I went to my doctor. We were going over all kinds of different stuff. And at the time, Mounjaro was very new, very, very new drug. People were taking it and it was kind of like, OMG, like people are losing weight on this. I think this was like 2021. No, it couldn't have been 2023. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But so the medicine was very new. And she gave me a box because I told her, hey, I feel crap about my weight, constantly feel groggy. I was probably at like 204 pounds, like going from like 200 to 204. Like I was like right there in the 200s. First time ever in my life that I had gotten that big. And she said, well, here's a box of Mounjaro. Try and see if that works. If you are able to, you know, drink enough water, take in some protein, work out, be active, you can really lose a good amount of weight with just one box of this. So, you know, take this box and, you know, call me back if you have anything, or just call me back in a month and we'll assess it from there. At the time, they were literally giving away boxes of Mounjaro. Literally, my box said sample on it. And it was the 4 shots of the 2.5 Mounjaro shot. And took it home, injected myself for the first time, and I broke down in tears. I broke down in tears hours after injecting myself with that medication. Because I couldn't believe what it did to my brain. Going from constantly having this food noise, like, what am I gonna eat? What restaurant's open? Oh, that restaurant's closed. So then you just find like the next good alternative. And whatever, like if I'm cooking something, like, is it gonna be enough for me and the rest of the people? Cause like I'm gonna wanna eat more. Or like after I finish my plate, like I want another. Like honestly, you get like the food noise back then, especially back then, because I was so extra depressed. The only source of like feeling okie dokie was food. So when I took that shot, and the food noise was gone. And at the time, I didn't even have my ADHD. I didn't have my ADHD diagnosed and treat. Like, it was just all like bad. I was in no medication, no mental health, no nothing. I was raw dogging it so bad. Oh my gosh, poor girl. But anyway, so I literally broke down in tears because I had been in this state of just spiral. The mental health, the food noise. My relationship was horrible at the time. My job wasn't all that great at the time. It was so much. And just to have this like clarity in my brain of, I don't feel like I want to eat 10 plates of food right now. It was unexplainable. I thought this drug is a miracle drug, and honestly, I mean, it truly is, right, for a lot of people. I couldn't believe it. Well, long story short, I took the 4 shots within, the month, and I lost 18 pounds in 4 weeks. I went from like 204 to, well, I'm not gonna do the math right, but I lost 18 pounds, so do that math. And I felt so good. I felt like I could finally, I remember trying on a pair of pants and being like, oh my gosh, like, because you might think 18 pounds ain't really that much. 18 pounds makes a difference, truly. Anyway, I felt so good, and I started seeing that Mounjaro was really hard to get and it was really expensive, so I was a little nervous about talking to my doctor because I was thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to be prescribed this medication again. So I called her once I finished the sample box of Mounjaro, and she said, yeah, well, we can only do the sample box, and for you to be able to get it actually, prescribed and taken care of, and I mean, your insurance, I don't know, most insurance aren't covering it. So even if you needed it, it's still gonna be like $700. I called insurance companies. I did the most just to see like how I could get this medication because I did not want to go back to feeling like this food noise again. Well, none of that worked, and basically I was gonna have to pay either $1,200 a month or not have the medication. So I stopped taking the medication, and the food noise came back 10 times harder. I gained the 18 pounds and then some, and I reached my heaviest weight at that point. I got to like 215 pounds. I believe that's my like highest recorded weight that like I ever truly saw on the scale, that I remember. And it, at that point I had to break up with the man, with the relationship. I moved back home. I actually started treating my ADHD, and believe it or not, treating my ADHD did absolute numbers for me. If you believe you have ADHD and you struggle with just all kinds of different things, talk to a doctor. Talk to a doctor and like truly just weigh your options. Because me treating my ADHD, I'm telling you, it did numbers for me just mentally. Because ADHD will mess up your serotonin levels and how, I don't know, I just know it does. And I really truly feel that when I started medicating my ADHD, I started to not get as depressed as I used to. I would see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though the tunnel was still very long and dark. I could see a little glimmer of light, right? But anyway, that was kind of the start of like me actually saying I needed to talk to health professionals about stuff. But prior to that, I was never hitting up a doctor ever. Anyway. So I say all of that to now, and sorry it's 15 minutes in, I know. I say that now to say that I'm scared shitless. Oh, am I gonna get emotional? I am scared shitless that, stop doing that. These cats. I'm scared shitless that this medication is going to backfire like it did before. And it's going to send me like back, if I get off of it, is it going to like backfire in the way that it did before? Cheech! I'm gonna beat that ass, boy. Stop. And do not jump up here. I went from like angry to mad real quick. What the heck? Yeah, I'm scared that like, I'm just so scared that it's going to backfire like it did then, because that's when I got to my heaviest weight and the food noise was so uncontrollable. And it's not a cheap medication, even though it's a compound and it's not $1,200 or $700, it's still $160 for 6 weeks. Like, that's a lot of money. Truly, really, $160? That's a lot of money. Especially if you don't know if it's going to backfire and put you in, like, the worst situation you've, you know. So when I talked to my doctor a week ago, I told him, hey, I can't lose weight. I have tried and tried. And I'll have motivation for this long and I'll do something for whatever, however long, 2-3 weeks, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I cannot control my appetite. I want to eat everything in sight. And he told me about the compound and he said, you know, and I told him about my prior experience with the medication. And I said, you know, I took this box and then I had to stop it cold turkey, and I ballooned because my appetite was unsatiable. There's a word that I'm not, you know. And he said, yeah, I can see how that happens. That does, you know, that can happen to patients, but the good thing about a compound is that you can self-medicate yourself in a way, so when you're ready to come off of it, if you need to come off of it, you can do that slowly instead of just like a hard drop and no more. He said you can, you know, take a lower dose than, you know, a 2.5, or you can even take a regular dose, but maybe wait a longer time period before you take another dose. That way it's like expanding your time period, and within that time you have time to focus on training yourself on like how to eat and what to do. And as you're losing weight, you know, you'll have more motivation. Hopefully you'll be able to do different things like go to the gym and feel good and get to a good place where you enjoy that again. So I said, okay, doc, you know, sign me up. I went and got the medication and I injected myself a starting dose of 2.5 last Thursday. Today's Wednesday, so it's been 6 days. It's not been a full week. what I can say is I have noticed changes, but not as potent as when I took Mounjaro. And I also took Trulicity, but I only took like 1 shot or 2, and I could not do, oh my gosh, I could not do Trulicity. Trulicity felt, oh my God, I can't even talk about it. My fear is throwing up. That's like, I get lightheaded just thinking about throwing up, but Trulicity would make me feel so nauseous. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, I could not do that. Anyway, but this didn't feel as like potent as like Mounjaro. Like, no food noise, it's completely gone, appetite nowhere to be found. But it also did make me feel nauseous, like Trulicity. But I did notice I don't have that food noise as heavily. I still get hungry, which is good, because when I was on Mounjaro that first go around, I was not eating like jack shit. Like, I really was not. I remember I even got really lightheaded once, and I had to like lay down on my floor because I literally had not ate in like such a long time. Or like, I had been eating, but like a small portion each day. Also, I was not drinking water. I was not drinking water at all. That's probably why I felt so bad. But because you just don't have any kind of like, you don't want to put anything in your mouth. That's not a thing with Mounjaro in my experience. But with this compound, I do still feel like having a meal. I do still feel like cooking something. I feel like eating something, but I don't have the want or the need to run somewhere and like buy a sweet treat for myself. So like that, like, I feel like this is probably how regular people feel on a day-to-day with their appetite. Like, if they're hungry, they're going to eat. But if I had a pack of Oreos here, I mean, I probably wouldn't do like horrible damage to it. I'd probably just eat a regular amount. So a lot of the food noise is gone. And so I weighed myself last week at the doctor's office, and I weighed 194.2. And I'll check myself, but I think 194.2. Today, so 6 days later, I weigh 191.6. I'll do the math. My brain can't do it right now. Come on, do it. No, I can't. Because then I'm going to be wrong and everybody's going to laugh at me. But I think most of that is just like water weight. And, you know, I don't think it's like a huge deal. I don't think that weight is like, I'm going to be losing that type of weight in 6 days. I think it's just my body calming down from eating so terrible to maybe just now having a normal, typical appetite. But I like this cadence. I don't want it to be any stronger. I don't want my appetite to be completely gone like it was with Mounjaro, because I know what that's gonna do to me. Like, then later, my brain's not gonna be able to handle it. I'm gonna go crazy. I think this is good. This is a good base level for me to experiment with different things. Like, what kind of foods do I want to eat? What times do I want to eat? Do I want to do any intermittent fasting stuff? Do I want to cut some carbs? It gives me the space to simply just think and make controlled actions when it comes to my nutrition. And that is honestly all that I can ask for, because that is the hardest thing for me, is being able to have a say so in like what I'm eating, how much I'm eating. So I'm really happy. It's been going great. And I'm happy that it looks like it's gonna be a slow process. It does not look like I'm gonna lose 45 pounds in 3 months. No, I don't think that's the case. And I don't want that. I want to teach myself how to get better from whatever addiction I may have with food. So I'm super excited. I am over the moon, honestly, at this point. That first of all, I can afford it. Because $700, because I think now with different things, it's come down to like $700 a month instead of $1,200 for me, at least, with my insurance and all that stuff. But it's $160 for 6 weeks instead of $700 for 4 weeks. So it's something that I can afford. I think if you average that out, it's like $24 or something like that. I can do that. I spend just about that much on fast food a week, probably more. And I can tell you, I have been eating a whole lot less fast food or just bad food just this week from being on this medication. So honestly, it literally levels out. Money-wise, it levels out. So I'm really happy. I'm really excited. I'm not doing anything different. I'm not changing my routine. Honestly, I haven't even been changing my foods. I haven't stuck to any sort of plan. I've just been feeling the vibes out. And I think later, as my body keeps doing what it's doing, adjusting, having time, I will get into different things like, do I want to go for a walk? Or do I want to skip out on the carbs? Or different things. But I want that to be a slow process. And I'm just super excited, and I'm going to keep repeating myself, so I'm going to stop the video now. Stop it here. I will update you hopefully in a week, and maybe we can do like weekly weigh-ins. I think that would be really fun. But don't hold me to it. And nobody may watch this video, and that's completely fine with me. But even if it's just videos for me that I post, I also don't want to make that like promise that like we're gonna see how well we do each week, because we might not do well 1 week, 2 weeks, so like, I don't want to feel that pressure. I just want to take it easy. I want to take it slow. So just so that you know, that's the goal. Oh my gosh, I have gray hair now. Don't jump up here. Okay. And I know you love my outfit, by the way. And I should take some videos of what my body looks like. I know. Oh God, I just don't want to. Stop screaming. And I probably should have taken pictures of what my body looked like a week ago. But you're just gonna have to imagine it. Hopefully next video that I upload, I can take some pictures and put them on the screen so that we can have visuals. I just kind of hate that because, I don't know, it just feels so permanent. And like if there's no changes within the photos, like it can be discouraging. So I don't know, but I'll definitely take some pictures because I know that's part of it. I know that whenever I watch these videos, even just for me to have, it's nice to have that. So I will. But I know, like, you just open yourself up to so much, like, criticism, not just from other people, but from yourself. Anyway, I got up to show you something, if you'll follow me. Stop screaming. Look at this guy. He's ugly. Are you ugly? Hey, are you ugly? Anyway, so I want to show you a little something that's on the back of my bedroom door. Move it. Move your butt. Move your butt. Move your butt. So this right here is like my calendar. And this was April, May. I know I need to put May up here, but May the 1st was on a Friday. It was last Friday, was May the 1st. And I took my first shot Thursday. I weighed 194.2. Tomorrow I'm going to weigh again. But today, which was Wednesday, I weighed 191 point, I think 4 or 6.6, 190. I have dry scalp, like literally chronic dry scalp, so please chill. I weighed 91.6, so I'm gonna see what I weigh tomorrow and write that there, and then just I'm gonna do it week by week. Starting weight, and then I don't know if this is permanent, but I'm saying that my goal is 160. If my goal was to be 160, I need to lose 34.2 pounds. But I don't know. That's just what I put. Maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. But anyway, deuces. I hope you can't see my outfit. I look crazy today. But yeah, that's it. Stay tuned. Hopefully I get so freaking hot. Take care. See you next time.